Julie,
Hey, Julie, my name is Hannah. Is this our Caviar Trucking?
our Cavalier Trucking, yes.
Oh, okay. I was just calling to see that you guys have a truck in Louisiana, and I was calling to see if you guys needed help or outsourcing any of those loads. I'm actually here in Natchez, Mississippi. I own Logistics Management Services and wanted to see if you guys needed help looking for loads.
Um, we do from time to time, yeah.
Okay. Y'all have a 53-foot dry van?
Yeah.
Okay. Do y'all stay, what kind of regions do y'all stay in?
So we normally do south, southeast, and lately we've pretty much been doing like local loads in our
Okay.
area
Okay.
just because diesel's been so crazy.
Right. It is so
And
crazy.
unfortunately, over the road is just not paying.
Hmm. We see that. Yeah. We, just to kind of explain who I am, not just some random girl calling you. I've been in the industry for 3 years. I was a dispatcher for a while, a broker. I worked for McLeod Software, and now I'm the managing partner of a flatbed fleet out of Orlando. But I run a dispatch agency, and so what I do is connect drivers and dispatchers that really are not just the dispatchers that scroll the load boards. We are very aware that you guys can get load boards yourself. What we do is we bring value by adding direct business connections for you. So, I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. I definitely depend on the load boards on some of those days, but other times we want to really outsource connections to where when you are looking at load board prices, those prices, everybody's getting a piece of the pie. Well, when we go in directly, and I'm probably telling you something you already know, but when we go in directly and build those business connections for your trucking company and get you on some dedicated work or better rates, those rates are going to be better without the broker involved anyway. And that's kind of what we're
Right.
trying to shy away from. And I've worked with all different types of equipments, and the market changes per equipment. And it's a very interesting time in our industry. The rates are
Yeah.
so low, and sometimes dispatching seems like a luxury. Like, I want a personal assistant, but you don't see me doing that. So we just want to bring that value to your company. We're behind the computer, you all are behind the wheel, and we just really want to work with local people in the South, which is why I was kind of targeting my area from Natchez, Mississippi, and saw we're kind of neighbors. So I just wanted to explain kind of what my company offers. We also do owner operating consulting, and we do a lot of things that are making a difference in the industry, and would love to partner with you guys.
Sounds interesting.
Yes. What was your first name again?
Julie,
Julie. Okay. And do you normally do the dispatching, Julie?
I do.
Okay. So, do you go on the road as well?
We do. No, me personally, no, I don't. I'm here. Look, I have my own hair salon, so
Oh, okay.
I mean, I dispatch for my husband. It's his business, but
Right.
I run everything.
How
All
many
he
trucks
does
do
is
y'all have?
drive. Just one.
Okay. Are y'all looking to grow?
I don't think so. I mean, it's he's been in business for himself as an owner operator since 2017,
Okay.
and the market's just been so crazy that he has thought about it. But I told him, in reality, I don't want to be responsible for somebody else.
Yeah, it's like adding a child.
Well, right. And like I told him, I said, between the drug testing and all that stuff, you just can't, you don't, I don't want to, and you really can't take that responsibility on.
Oh yeah. And you can't vouch for somebody else's work ethic. You don't know who these guys are, if they show up on time, if they don't. It's really
Right.
hard. You're dealing with truckers, and that's a hard group of people to deal with. But honestly, if I learned anything, my dad, he had his own trucking company back when we started this. We had to close the doors. We opened a brokerage, closed the doors, that kind of thing. But like, honestly, I look back at regret, and I'm like, if we just had that one good connection, like if we just
Yeah.
got that one that gives us the best rate without a broker, and like, that's what my job really is business to business sales. And I don't really normally call carriers like this. I'm calling because I also own a dispatch education company teaching other dispatchers how to talk on the phone and have real conversations like this, because the market is hard. And when I hear other people that are also struggling financially because of the market, that's where my passion comes in. I don't mind if you never use me as a dispatcher or whatever the case is. Just wanted to let y'all know, like, I'm a professional in the industry. I'm here. I have multiple skill sets to utilize. And if that means something small to help y'all out or something large to help you out, I would love to work with y'all.
Sounds good. I mean, I'm definitely kind of in the market for that because we do have some steady, not all the time, but sometimes, like, you know, we have a broker at TQL who
Oh no.
pretty much, I know, TQL's not the best, but I gotta say, this guy, I mean, at
They'll keep
least
you busy.
when he gets these specific loads that we run for him, I mean, he's paying a decent rate to us for the load. But the reason why is because, like he said, you know, you all are a rarity. He said,
Mhm.
you're so dependable, you're so on time. And he said, you know, it's worth it to me, even when the rates go down. Our rate for that specific load does not, because like he said, I'm not willing to risk losing y'all off that load when I know what I have.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we do have that with him. And sometimes, you know, he's got the loads every day, sometimes once a week, sometimes not. So it's very up and down. And, you know, it's like, I just told my husband today, he's not running today because, you know, me bidding on the loads, I'm just not getting them because there are people underbidding me. And, you know, I have to stick at a specific place to do the load simply because with the diesel prices the way they are and the rate per mile that you should be getting anyway, you know, I know the rates are down, but they're down because the loads are plentiful right now.
Right.
And so are the drivers. I told them, I just read an article this morning. There's like a mass exodus of drivers happening right now.
Oh yeah.
Because they just don't want to do it because of the rate. And I get it, because I told my husband, it's scary, you know, like I said, we have not been going over the road because I can't run for under $2 a mile.
Oh, no way. No way.
You know, I'm barely making it at like, you know, 230, 250 a mile. And I'm just, you know, like I told him, if it comes down to you not running, then you don't run. Because guess what? If you're going to run just to pay your diesel,
Mm-hmm.
we can't do it. You
Right.
know, you just can't do it. It's you're better off not making anything.
Right. The
than just
time,
making
the
your diesel.
risks, the risk involved, all of those factors, you make more money sitting at home, you know? And I think
Yeah.
that's a huge thing for us, is like being able to respect that these guys are the ones that are working the hardest and they really are risking the most here. So getting them the right job, AKA load, for the right preferences is a very, very important thing for us. And I think that it boosts the overall, you know, demeanor and the culture of, you know, working with people that are educated, but also enthusiastic, and knows when the days are hard, you can still, you know, make it through the mud. Because man, I have some thick skin after working with this industry, and it's not much that doesn't scare me away these days. And I know that the only thing scary to me right now is the market that I don't have control over. And that's kind of what I've been fighting, is like, you look at these companies, you can even look up this information online, like produce companies or lumber companies, steel companies. You look up their companies and they're in a $100 million operation. You mean to tell me
Yep.
that your transportation budget is slim? No, something's not right here. So I'm like trying to get in on the big budgets, and we do study companies based on their revenue to know that, oh, these guys can afford a good price paying thing. Now, what I also have been trying to study is the oil field market, and what we could do with the supplies of rigs and things like that, or smaller parts and auto parts. I know those go in dry vans as well. I actually just got an email as we're on the phone from a company called Illumatech Signs out of Bunkie, Louisiana. And over there, they make all the signs for Napa Auto Parts and Taco Bell. Their stuff goes in dry vans or flatbeds. They prefer dry vans, and they will let you spot quote it. So that's the best position to be in, is when you can quote a company. I've spent a lot of time on my pricing analytics, because you can't price gouge and you can't do it too cheap. There's a sweet spot, and I study those numbers, and that's just an example of what it would be like as a direct company connection. You know, and y'all being from Louisiana, I'm sure they would love you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just one example of many connections I would love to build for you guys if y'all wanted me to come on board. But there's no obligation, no contract. I mean, there's an informational contract of like when we find loads and we're not liable if something went wrong, that kind of thing. But honestly, it's just a win for everyone as a resource and a connection within the network, because I believe, I don't care what industry you're in, if you don't have the connections in the network to lean on the right people you can trust, then what are you doing?
Oh, it's true. And that's what I told them, because we're getting calls left and right every single day from dispatch services.
No.
And I told them, I said, you know, I can't, and you know, they're like, well, we do 2%, we do 3%, we do 10%, we do that. And I told them, I said, look, if I can't have a conversation in English language with these people,
there it is.
Call me prejudiced, call me what you want. I really don't care, because, you know, I'm from the NOLA area. So guess what?
I can hear it. That coon
accent
accent
is really, really thick. And I told him, I said, I don't care. He gets mad at me because I challenge him on the phone, but I'm like, you know why? Because I talked to, we use OTR Capital as our factoring company. Oh, OTR Solutions now, excuse me. And I've already talked to my rep there, and I, you know, said to her, look, I got these dispatch companies calling me. I would consider using a dispatch company, maybe not 100%, but if it worked out where it could be 100%, that would be fine. I said, but I need to clear them like I do these brokerage companies with y'all, because I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they are. And she told me flat out, she says, I can tell you that we have worked with some. She says, it's not like I can clear them on a credit check like you do on your app with brokers.
Because we don't have an MC number.
Exactly. And she said, but I can tell you that there are a lot of them out there
that are not from this country.
Good. And I can't, like I told my husband, I can't take a chance in taking a load from someone like that. I don't care. I mean, I just had a guy the other day who called, and, you know, I could barely understand him, but we got to a point where I could understand things. He had a load for me, and I was like, okay, well, if I do it, this is what I would do. And it was, you know, straight through. And he said, well, how about this? And I said, no, I told you, this is my money. This is my dollar. That's it. I don't care what you charge for the load, for what you get, but this is what I'm getting. So, and I think it was something like $1,800. And he called me, he texted me, or no, he emailed me back, and he said, I got good news. The broker agreed to do the load for $2,000. And I'm thinking to myself, now, why would you send me something back telling me $2,000 when I just told you $18,000? That just doesn't.
Well, that's a great
Make any
question.
sense.
That's a great question. So the dispatchers actually get paid on the percentage of your gross. So in theory, that's what brokers do. So for example, brokers will get we'll say a load of beverages and they will pay out $1,000. We'll keep the numbers pretty simple for this example. They'll pay out $1,000. A broker grabs that load and gives it to the driver for $800. So that would mean the
Right.
broker gets to keep $200. Now, not every broker keeps that full amount because some goes to the company, blah, blah, blah. What a dispatcher does as an independent dispatcher, we do not take money off the top. We want you to have the full gross amount. Then we get paid on a percentage of that load for the gross, but we do all of the calculating of that for you. So for example, if we use your example of $2,000, so yes, you're right. That dispatcher could technically have taken that $200 and still given it to you for 1,800. But once you get the rate confirmation that says 2,000 and that company pays you 2,000, you don't want to mess with going back to give him $200, right? So what?
Well, I was a little nervous because, you know, he wanted DOT, MC, insurance, W-9, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, dude.
Yeah, that's
I'm
hard.
not giving you that. I'm not giving you that information. That is crucial information. I don't know what you could do with it.
That's really scary. And honestly, the amount of people that you think you can trust in this industry, and we could talk all day, and I could convince
know.
you that I'm the right person for this job because I've been through it and you can trust me. I'm a hometown Southern girl that doesn't take a lot from this industry, and I fight really hard for my drivers as if they were my own. And so what I do, is yes, we have an agreement in place. Like I said, it's for like confidentiality, but it's to protect you too. It says that we can't share information. You know, basically when we book a load, we don't force dispatch. We run it by the driver, we run it by you or whoever. And when we get the green light from you, that's when we go in and do the paperwork that the broker's requiring or whatever. The only reason why, and I agree with you. I would never just fork over my information. That's like forking over your social security card. And it's very different when you are running an entire company, and that one small service, a dispatcher could really make some damage with that company. And that's what is very serious about this. And as a dispatch educator who teaches, I've taught over 250 different dispatchers in my day. I teach that you literally cannot, take advantage of any way, shape, or form of the information you have. When the information is given to you, you protect that because your safety ratings, your fallout records with TQL and all of these brokerages, they matter. And you can't just have somebody that you don't know booking a load and doing it for you. Now, for me, I'll come down and shake your hand and show you I'm a real person, but it is a lot of information that dispatchers have to handle. The factoring alone, some drivers like to do their own factoring. Maybe y'all already have it set up in your system or an app on your phone or whatever is easy for you. We do offer factoring services and we keep track of the weekly revenue and things like that. We do key performance indicators, spreadsheets, all of those data, that data that you need to have for your trucking company. But if that's sensitive for you, I don't blame you at all, because not only is it somebody you didn't know, probably overseas or whatever the case is, it's somebody that you don't just fork over your company after one phone call, you know. And I would love to show y'all what I have before even committing to that. And like I said, I don't have any contract or any type of ramifications that hold you to it. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. You know, we'll part ways, no hard feelings at all. It's one of those things where I'm like, if I don't get to be a part of the growth of a company, then I don't really get to celebrate the wins either, you know?
So when you do a load, like you were talking about this company in Bunkie, because like I said, we're in the New Orleans area.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I bid a load, I'm factoring in deadhead and, you know, like on some loads, it just depends. You know, if I'm getting him there and he's coming back here with the load, then that's easy enough. But I am factoring in that deadhead to that load.
Oh yeah, you
But
have
if
to.
yeah, but if he's going there and he's not coming back here, you know, I'm also factoring in the deadhead to get him back here if I don't have a load from there.
For him to come home empty, you mean?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, no, those are all factors. So what I do is we study the market every day. And I don't mean that in a weird way of like every day. It's like checking the news for me. I look at the map through the DAT analytics and it shows colors. It's like the blue means cold areas with no freight. The red means booming areas with freight. So when I do make an educated choice to send a driver to a specific area, I'm already basing my judgment to send him there knowing I can get him back with a load. There should never, ever, under only extreme circumstances, that you should have to drive all the way home empty.
Right.
But that's, yes, I calculate in the deadhead. We actually recalculate the deadhead and the rate per mile once we get the rate cons and plug in the exact addresses, because that is important too. Now, my flatbed drivers, they are hitting $2.60, $3 rate per mile on a good week. You know, those flatbed guys are tarping and doing a lot of labor, but that's a little different. The drive-in, what you mentioned about 230, my comfortable zone, and I don't like to overpromise anything, but my comfort zone would definitely be to stay around the 250. I'm pretty confident I could help you guys stay in that 250 range.
Gotcha.
Do you
Yeah,
guys go down to Houston a lot?
You know, we used to go to Texas all the time, but those have been some of the lowest rates.
Yes, Texas is hard to get out of, and they want you to stay in Texas because it's so big.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, you can compare it now to Florida.
Yes, that's what everyone is saying.
Now, somebody just told me in the industry that the reason for that is because with the influx of migrants, so many people have these illegal migrants in their trucks.
For
And
team,
they're working
for team drivers?
next to nothing.
Oh, I know. Those are the ones that are taking the cheap freight. And as long as they take cheap freight, the brokers will continue to post the cheap freight.
Right.
So if there's some idiot out there that's going to keep taking these prices and not fighting for what they deserve, they're going to make us all look like idiots.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately what is happening right now. You know, it's just ridiculous.
It is. Well, listen, I think we can make a good team, and I think we could be friends. If you want to get your husband on a call maybe this evening and kind of chew on what we talked about today, and check me out on Facebook. All of the good things. I was just on a TV show doing an interview on logistics out of Houston, Atlanta, and Chicago. I'm a very great professional in this industry with lots of experience, and we're ultimately just looking for those right partners that want to work with us, but not just want to work with us, but where I can see I actually will bring value to your company.
Yeah, well, I can tell you now, I mean, you know, I'll check everything out. As far as him getting on a phone call, it's not that he won't. His answer is going to be, oh, you have to talk to my wife. She does all that.
I like those answers. My husband does the same thing.
And it's like, no, you need to learn. Because I tell him all the time, you need to learn these. I don't have time. I'm driving. I can't. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Okay.
Well, that means he definitely could utilize our services in more ways than what he could probably think. I think you guys would be impressed with a full-fledged dispatch service, not somebody that you don't really know. I mean, I know we don't know each other very well, but I can tell you I put my money where my mouth is. So, and you know, if it doesn't bring value and things don't work out, that's okay. I will do everything in my power to get that boost going for you guys. I think it breaks my heart knowing that he's just sitting there today. And I think that is, if you have a driver that's wanting to make some money, we have some services that will help him do that.
Okay. And so do you like email?
Yes, ma'am.
On? Okay, so
What's
how
your
everything
email?
goes and what you charge. My email is rcavalier, Cavalier, trucking, LLC, @outlook.com.
Okay, so it's RCAVALIER Trucking LLC at Outlook.
Right,
Okay.
outlook.com.
So I didn't mention this, but I'm not a one-man show actually, because I have trained some of the best dispatchers in the country. They have stuck alongside of me, and we have a dispatch agency where we have the team. Most of our team used to be drivers themselves, highly great professionals in the industry, definitely know what they're doing. But I'll be that main point of contact and take y'all under my wing and send you some information. And my percentage is negotiable on what you think I could bring as far as value to the company. We do like to stay around 7%. But like I said, if we're not bringing the value, I understand that that's not always affordable. So we can negotiate that as well.
Okay, and is that something that we factor into the load?
No, ma'am. So the way it works is we will either y'all factor or we can factor, either way. But once the load has been factored, every week I will send you an itemized list of the loads and what they were paid. And I will have an invoice for you. It's just like, if you were to pay a plumber, you're going to pay that
Okay.
plumber privately. You're not going to put that in your house payment. You know what I mean? So you
Right.
have to make sure that, well, the dispatcher is going to make sure that we send the invoice to you. However, it's through Square or Stripe or something like that. But we wait for you to get all of your payments from the loads first. And so like every Monday or Friday, we will send in that invoice, and it's just taken care of like a regular service.
So it would have to, because like I said, I'm with OTR Solutions,
Okay.
and I do have a contract with them.
Okay.
So, that would be
I can
something
ask
that-
OTR if they will do dispatch, like a cut out of the dispatch. And that way I can get set up with OTR with y'all, to where they're taking care of that. Now we can do it either way. I'm not super concerned about that at this point. I just want to get your husband rolling with good loads, and then we can figure out the details of how to get paid afterwards. But I definitely, if you have an OTR rep, go ahead and ask him about dispatchers getting paid out through factoring. And I'm okay with that. I can get on payroll with them or whatever, however they want to pay out. If that doesn't work, we can just do a good old fashioned invoice. It's just a link on your phone. You click and pay, and I keep going.
Yeah, no, my only reason for saying that is because, like in order for me to factor a load with them, I have to run like the brokerage firm to see if they're
The
approved.
credit check. Oh yeah, I already have access to credit check, all of that. So I would get set up with OTR to do those credit checks. And I actually do those credit checks while I'm calling the broker before I even negotiate, because I don't want to waste my time calling a broker that's not approved anyway.
Okay, good.
No, I have a horror story of that as well. I make sure I always triple check that those brokers are credit checked.
Yeah, because I mean, I like OTR. I really do. I find them really good as far as weeding out the bad stuff,
Yes.
and they're connected to, that load board.
Yes. That's great
Because-
integration.
Yeah, and that's, that has been pretty much the more stable of the load board.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And if you guys wanted to even explore the opportunity of growth in the future, I come from a software background as well. We could get a software in place where the loads going to the driver is straight through an app. However, we do that. Normally it's all through email. When I get a rate confirmation, I'll just send it to him via email or you. And that's how we dispatch it out. But once again, I don't book loads unless everybody's on board. And on the same page.
Okay, and what did you say the Facebook,
Yes, ma'am. It's Logistics Management Services. What is your name on Facebook? And I can shoot you so you can see everything.
mine is Julie Humphreys Cavalier.
Okay. Oh, it won't let me send you a friend request, but I'll shoot you a message. Hello. And then, I'll be able to send you the link to my page. You can see our reviews on there. We just rebranded the name since I had to change my LLC to a Mississippi one. But the reviews are the best. I've worked with about 40 different drivers in my time, and it's honestly, it's been a whirlwind. It has not been easy. And you think that, you know, stories are crazy. Well, just when you think they're crazy, they get crazier. Yes,
That's scary.
it is weird, but I would say that I pride myself in fighting fires. So I stay cool, calm, and collected when things go crazy, and I do my digging to help find a solution. That is something that is very beneficial to have when maybe you're doing hair and your driver got all the way there and they're saying the load's not there, or they have the wrong pickup number. You know, that's where I come into play and I work things out, or they're trying to charge you a fee of something that wasn't, you know, whatever the case is. I'm really good at fighting those fires that are unrelated to dispatching as well.
Sounds good.
And I can go ahead
Dana?
and send you an email with our carrier agreement. It's just outlines the agreement, like, of liability, and that you're giving us permission to book loads. And we'll collect those documents that we need. So the only thing on that agreement that I'll email over to you is those documents, like the authority of your MC authority letter, your W-9, and your COI are the main 3 things I need. The only reason why I collect those is because I know the brokers are going to ask for it. So that way I'm not asking those documents every time a broker asks me. I already have that in my files.
Okay.
I know that was a lot of information. I'm so sorry for talking your face off.
No, I look, I mean, look, I'm just glad that I can understand you, and we're in the same English language category. 'Cause
Yeah,
I get so frustrated.
it is really frustrating. It's very different. And I talk to these people because they want to learn dispatching too. And I'm like, call me back after you know that Oklahoma is above Texas. Thanks.
Exactly.
All right, Julie. Well, did you have any other questions for me? We can jump on a call later as the questions come in, and this is my office number, but I'm going to text you from my direct cell number right now.
Okay, that works.
All right, Miss Julie, I think we're going to be friends, and let's make some money for your husband and get out of this crappy market that we're in.
Exactly.
Okay, well, thank you for your
That's
time today. I just shot you a text, and I look forward to working with y'all.
great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Julie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bam, that's how it's done.